morning, I'm James Gruber and welcome to the Morning Report for Wednesday the 1st of April. Could the Iran war be wrapping up soon? Well, that's the question investors are asking after separate reports suggesting an end may be near. The Wall Street Journal reported that US President Donald Trump told aides he was willing to end the military campaign against Iran even if the Strait of Hormuz remained largely closed. He later told the New York Post that he doesn't expect the US to be at war with Iran for too much longer. And Iran's Press TV reported that Iran's president had indicated that his country is seeking an end to the war. Not surprisingly, markets cheered the news. As for the local trading session here, we're expecting a jump when our market opens. The ASX 200 futures are 1.5% higher. To recap, on Tuesday, the ASX 200 closed higher, 0.3% up to 8,481.8 points. The index closed out a tumultuous month, down 7.8%, its biggest fall since June 2022, as the Middle East war drove crude prices above $100 a barrel, threatening runaway inflation at home and a tighter monetary policy by the central bank. For March, the banking index ended 6.7% down, with the big four banks losing between 4% and 15%. The National Australia Bank shared more than 15% in its biggest monthly decline since March 2020. Miners lost 14% in the month, their worst showing since November 2015. Gold stocks, which surged 16% in the first 2 months of 2026, erased all those gains by tumbling 24% in March. Today should be a better day, though, for the ASX, given the huge moves in overseas markets overnight. Moving to commodities, global oil prices were mixed on Tuesday on the news that the war could finish soon. Brent crude rose almost 5% to $118.35 a barrel on fears of prolonged supply disruptions. Meanwhile, NYMEX oil was down 1.5% to $101.38 a barrel. Front-month Brent crude prices had a record gain in March, up close to 70%, while NYMEX oil gained around 50% in the month, its biggest jump in 6 years. Base metal prices surged on Tuesday on hopes for a resolution to the war. Copper futures were up 2%, while aluminium futures gained 2.1%. Meanwhile, gold futures climbed on Tuesday, though it was still its worst month since 2008. The futures settled up 3% to $4,691 an ounce. Iron ore futures added 0.6% to $106.38 a tonne on Tuesday and was up around 7% for the month amid supply risks from the war. Let's turn to currencies now. The Aussie dollar was last trading up 0.7% to 68.99 US cents as increased risk appetite led to selling of the US dollar. Let's go back a step now to see how Wall Street and other world markets did. The Dow Jones index was up 2.5%, the S&P 500 was 2.9% higher, while the Nasdaq index jumped 3.8%. US markets advanced on Tuesday as investors cheered reports signalling the war could soon end. The month-long conflict left the S&P 500 and the Dow with their largest quarterly fall since early 2022. The S&P 500 Energy Index was the only sector poised to end March in positive territory and log its biggest quarterly jump on record, tracking a rally in oil prices. On Tuesday, 9 out of 11 major S&P 500 sectors were in the green. The technology sector added 4.2%, as chipmakers staged a recovery, with Nvidia and Broadcom up 5.6% and 5.5% respectively. CoreWeave rose 12% after securing an $8.5 billion loan to expand AI infrastructure. Marvell Technology added 12.8% after Nvidia invested $2 billion in the firm. A 6.7% rise in Meta Platforms and Alphabet's 5% gain lifted the Communication Services Index up 4.4%. Let's turn to bonds. US government bonds ended the first quarter higher on Tuesday, rebounding after a month of heavy selling, as the reports of a US exit strategy from Iran boosted demand for government debt. The US 10-year Treasury yield was down 2 points to 4.32%, while the US 2-year Treasury yield dipped 3 points to 3.79%. To the European markets, the continent-wide FTSE Euro First 300 index ended 0.4% higher, and the UK FTSE 100 gained 0.5%. Europe ended Tuesday with their steepest monthly decline in nearly 4 years. The Pan-European index fell 8% in March, snapping an 8-month run of gains. All major regional bourses rose on the day but logged monthly losses. Among individual movers, UBS shares climbed 4%, after the Financial Times reported Swiss lawmakers have assured the lender they will ease capital rules, helping financial services stocks. Unilever dropped 7.3% after the conglomerate said it was in advanced talks to combine its food business with spice maker McCormick. Now it's time for the watch list. So what are we watching today? In Australia, building approvals for February are released today. There are several companies trading ex-dividend too, including Harvey Norman and ARB. There are also companies making dividend payments, such as Seek, Reece, and Generation Development Group. In the US, there'll be data on retail sales, employment, and the ISM Manufacturing PMI. And that's it for today. For further developments on the local trading session, please tune in to the CommSec Market Update podcast this afternoon, and of course, the Market Close video. Have a great day.